And Salman comes and so there was some dialogue, and I very clearly remember I was very nervous. Now I also, would want to graduate from whatever I'm doing and do some meaningful work, because I just didn't like the feeling of being thrown out.
She's been a part of many popular hit films back in the 90s, and now she's making a comeback with a series. Hi, Ayesha Jhulka. Welcome to the Quint, and thank you so much for talking to me.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us on Quint. I would like to take you back and talk about the first time you came to this city to realize your dreams of being an actor. How was that for you? What was your first break like?
I was, doing my fashion designing. I'm a NIFT graduate, and but it was the other way around. I mean, see, I came into it was by default, and then, because I got my first film, and that is when I shifted. I was very young because I did not really, pursue my fashion designing. I couldn't, because this came in between, and this is what I wanted to do. So I had to choose between I had to leave my fashion designing. I was always, imagining myself doing films. But I was in Delhi, and my education was on, and there was no way that this could have happened. So it's just destiny and luck, and it just happened. I got this offer. I had won a couple of titles. I was very fond of entering beauty contests. Because of those contests, I was, discovered, and that's how I did my first film.
So, do you remember shooting the first day?
Oh, yes, I very much remember. I can never forget that. I was shooting for Qurban with Salman, and there was a melee ka scene, and I had to, be at the chudi wale ki dukaan, and I'm buying some bangles for myself. I'm playing that Daku ki beti and gaon wali ladki, and I was buying some chudis, and Salman comes, and so there was some dialogue, and I very clearly remember I was very nervous.
And from there, of course, you went on to do films with a lot of other big actors. I think when people think of you, the first film they think of is Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar. I don't think anyone can forget that film. Then, of course, there's Khiladi, there's Chachi 420, amongst so many other films. So, what made you kind of take a break from acting?
I worked really long, and I did lots of films with practically everybody. You did what you wanted to do and what you felt was right, or what came by and you liked. And then there came a time after almost 15, 16, 20 years that I realized that now I also, would want to graduate from whatever I'm doing and do some meaningful work. And I would like to do some great, meaningful roles. But unfortunately, back then you just had to look pretty. You needed to know how to dance, and you had all those things. The criteria was different, and those things were not coming my way the way I wanted them to. So I thought it's better to take a back seat and wait for my potential to be tapped.
Since you have worked with a lot of leading actors, like you said, Salman Khan, Kamal Hassan, there's Akshay Kumar, they go on to still do films where they're playing leads, right? Whereas women somehow are not getting their due.
I did feel it back then. I feel that there is all the in between that is covered by OTT now. And I feel that bridging of the gap has happened very beautifully. And, artists like us who are neither here nor there, have so much more to do now. And there are such lovely performances, and there's such lovely roles that people like us, with whatever experience we've had in life and as actors and the experiences of life, can make us put in so much more into those characters. And that is the reason why you will see that so many of our timers are coming back to work. And simple reason that we all are hungry to do good work. Instead of just jumping and playing a mother or a dadi, we would like to do something that has more potential.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think now is the time where women roles are more sketched out, they're driving narratives in films. So that was my question. Back then, there weren't. But so the actors continue to be playing leads in films, whereas the actresses really didn't have anything much to do, because if they crossed a certain age, you couldn't play the actress, you had to play a mom or whatever, right? So that was my question, saying, why do you think that existed in those times?
Well, that was then, it used to be like that because there was no OTT. Even television came in much later, the soaps and all. Luckily for me, I took a back seat before reaching that stage because I just didn't like the feeling of being thrown out. Because, you just, so I probably realized that way in advance, and I felt that why the moment I started getting roles, which I was getting a lot of those roles which I was doing, but somehow I didn't want to keep on because I've done more than 100 films, and how many more to do with the same stuff? I mean, all of them were beautiful at that point of time because I was younger and there were so many other things we could do, and there was a format in the industry back then. So with women, it is the same. It was like same for everybody basically. But for actors, it's different because you know probably the shelf life back then they used to say is more.
What is the difference that you see when you were shooting back then to today? I know the sets are very different today. There are vanity vans.
I think back then we had something called one shift, and now apparently I've heard that they just go on and on. And, luckily for me, I still was restricting myself to that one shift. But um sets are definitely different because they're upgraded. Everything is upgraded now. When a lot of people say, oh, things are more professional now, and, I don't understand this professional because at that time, that was professional, whatever we did. Now this is professional. Tomorrow something else will be professional. So everything in that time was perfect. The bestest part that I would say is a lot of preparation for the roles and the actor and the absolute, you know, uh, in close proximity, in a very uh, close knit way. The director is absolutely one on one with the actor, wherein you get so much more insight of your character from the director. Writer will really, do a lot to explain your character. The production looks after each and every little thing.
So what was it like back then in terms of, like you said, script? Now the director would sit with you and he will talk more to you about the script, your character's more etched out, and you kind of can perform better because you know better.
So back then, I think most of the time, either the script writer or the director would actually come to you, narrate the entire script. First, there was a one line. So if you like the one line, then you'll call the team to explain. Most of the time, the director used to narrate everything, the whole film, along with the writer, or the writer would do and the director would sit. But straight we met on the set then. So there was no beyond the story. That kind of intelligent way of working and cinema, which is happening today, is very interesting.
Before we go, I'm going to ask you a question about your film sets back in the day. What is the first memory that comes to your mind when I say the film Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar?
Okay, so well, it's been written about, spoken about, but I'll still say it. The memory that I really take with myself, there are three things for Jo Jeeta, actually four. One is I had got hit by a nail, and that was a story which a lot of people know, and that was something that I really felt that I handled it well, and the team handled it really well, and so that's why that cap is there and not there in the climax. The second thing is my equation with Mansoor has been so fabulous and great. And we used to keep teasing each other a lot on Hindi, that he would speak Hindi and I would correct him and say, no, this is not right and that is not right. And we still, whenever we meet, we think of those times. Then the high-speed song that we did was my first high-speed song. Actually, it was the first high-speed song done in the industry. And that was some experience because, and I'm so glad I was part of it, because I used to go and ask stupid questions like, वो high speed में आएगा तो हमें गाना भी high speed में गाना है क्या? मतलब lip movement भी high speed में होगा. So, because it was new, we all were new, and they would also look at each other कि कौन answer देगा इसका, because everybody was experimenting something new, but it was Mansoor's idea. And he's such an intelligent person. And it was a treat to work with him. And I always keep telling him, I recently also told him, you have to make Jojita part 2 now. Everybody's making sequels and part 2s. Now you
What
also
did he
have to do
say?
it. So he said, yes, yes, that's a good idea. And I'm going to start writing. And of course, the most important thing is Aamir Khan. And Aamir is one person that I always felt during that long duration of shoot that we had together. Um, a man who has his head on his shoulders. He knew exactly what he's doing, and the kind of discussions he used to have with Mansoor and with the team at times, and and then he had this really serious, absolute work में character में घुसा हुआ आदमी और and then on the other side, there is this guy who's playing pranks and running, behind all of us and teasing us. And so it was like a picnic because we all were young and, we all were playful and we had a different kind of thing. But, and you see the kind of work he's been doing evolved so much as an actor. And I've always been his fan. And
I'm sure on the internet, on Twitter, Instagram, you've also seen this recent, really sad thing that's been going on is about people misconstruing things, or sometimes if their sensibilities don't match, people will say, we're not going to watch this actor's film, or, boycott this film. In those days, I think these things didn't exist. It was simpler. The current climate that we live in is sort of negative, is sort of volatile, and it affects the film sometimes. What would you have to say that about someone who's been a part of the industry, is coming back and is also a viewer?
I strongly feel back then, yes, it was much simpler and they were not this kind of absolute aggression. I feel, I may be wrong, but I feel that everything is too open now. Every little thing is too much there. Earlier, there was always a mystery. There was always something that you wanted to know more, and you would wait for days and hours and weeks together to just figure out कि अच्छा इस एक्टर का और आगे क्या या इस डायरेक्टर का और या इस फिल्म में क्या हो रहा है. There was no clue. It was just always a surprise, and and that surprises everybody loves. So now I feel that though times have changed for the better, things are much better, films are much nicer, bigger, and everything is more professional, and everything is conducted very well. But also, there's a flip side where you are actually in everybody's house. You're where everybody knows about you in and out, and that mystery element is going somewhere. And we basically have given so much comfort to the audiences and everyone and the viewers that actually it is like our hug on this thing, which is not bad, but at the same time, I just feel, and I really feel that all the viewers, including me, we all should understand that there's so much hard work that goes behind a project. There is so much money is involved. There is so much effort involved. There's so much love, passion, and lot of hard work involved. And we just cannot take a stand just like that and be into that herd mentality. We really need to figure out if there's really something drastically wrong here, and then I can understand the aggression. But at the same time, I think people love the industry, they love the actors, so just love us more so that we don't have to go through these kind of things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for talking to me, and good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Hey, did you know that as a Q Insider, you can get early access to exclusive interviews and also get a sneak peek into whom I'm interviewing next? And that's not all. You can also send your questions for your favorite celebrities. All you need to do is click on the link in the description below and join our fabulous community of members.